What's up, people? It's Nature Girl 30 here, and this is my Raw review for August 27th. For any Triple H fans out there, this could be a bittersweet moment, or it could be a hopeful moment for any Triple H fans out there. And it's because that tonight, pretty much in the middle of, pretty much like towards the middle of the show, like Triple H pretty much had a segment of whether or not he was going to retire, or whether or not he was going to actually keep on fighting. But it shows now that Triple H is definitely retiring. Well, from the storyline that is, and he actually is going to take some time and step back. I actually have my own personal view when it comes to this, but it's going to probably make this video a little bit longer, so I'm going to actually make a separate video with that and probably upload it either tonight or tomorrow. But either or, the one thing I'm definitely going to say is that that was a really good segment. I really liked the fact that he had his own moment, that nobody came out and interrupted him and stuff like that. It was his own segment, his own personal segment to say what he had to say, and then he left. And I think that was a good segment the way they actually did crown that off. I'm gonna be honest with you, this Raw was a little bit boring. I mean, it really didn't seem like there was a lot to look forward to when it came to Raw itself, because it was just so completely boring to me. I'm sorry, this really, really was. And the one thing I could definitely say is that there were a few segments that actually did make me laugh. And I have to say that Kane's segment was probably the best segment I have ever seen. It reminded me so much of, it reminded me a lot of Austin Powers when Dr. Evil was actually in therapy. And he was pretty much talking about what happened to him in his life. But the way that Kane did it was downright hilarious. Not to mention, it was probably a little creepy if you were in the shoes of those people that were there. But honestly, I liked every bit of it. I think that it was really, really fun, and I really did enjoy watching it. The matches themselves weren't really all that bad. We actually did have a rematch, a WrestleMania 27 rematch between John Cena and The Miz, and it seemed like that tonight it was actually they were paying somewhat of a homage to WrestleMania 27, seeing that they had a WrestleMania rematch between The Miz and John Cena, and then also seeing that Jerry the King Lawler was actually going to be in a match later on tonight. And speaking of Jerry the King Lawler, good grief. Everyone pretty much knows how I feel about his match at WrestleMania 27. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to rant about it. But the one thing I can say is that this match, just like WrestleMania 27, went on far too freaking long. I really wanted this match to end. It was absolutely pointless. He had every opportunity to walk out the door, but honestly, they were trying to prolong it as long as they could, and I wish it would just end. And it really doesn't make any sense to me why they have CM Punk starting to have a feud with Jerry the King Lawler. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why does he have to be a catalyst for the feud between John Cena and CM Punk? Why did he have to be the catalyst to actually start beefing it up when they could have done it all on their own? It was pointless for him to actually knock out Jerry the King Lawler because he didn't even need to be there. This match should not have happened. I'm sorry, it really should have happened. And the fact is, they keep having all these steel cage matches, but they never use the cage. Why bother? I don't know. But the one thing I can actually appreciate about tonight's Raw was the fact that it felt like that they actually did a little bit of caring when it came to the Divas. I mean, the fact that Layla actually had her moment as a champion, but when she actually fought against Natalya, that was a good match to see. Really, it was. And then the fact that they had Vicky Guerrero come out there, and and the fact that she had a fight with AJ, somewhat of a little feud between those two that really was unresolved. It seemed like they were actually starting to pick it up a little bit. They actually started to care. How long it's going to last? Probably just tonight. But it seemed like they actually did a little research. Not research, but it seemed like they actually put a little bit of caring. They gave a little bit of a hug to them. Like, seriously, it really felt like they actually started caring a little bit about the Divas division. This is going to probably be maybe the only night that it's going to happen, but it was nice to see that. And it was a really good match between Layla and Natalya. I'd rather have Natalya versus Layla than Caitlyn versus Layla. But we'll see. We'll see. It may be a good match. Obviously, they're still doing a lot with the tag divisions. Um, well, actually, no. I mean, they're starting to actually start to put some tag teams together, especially tonight with Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes versus Brodus Clay and Sin Cara. I'm gonna be honest, they're actually starting to put some tag teams together that really does seem like they're a good fit. Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow really do seem like they're gonna be a great tag team if they continue to be a tag team. I think that these guys would be really beneficial to be a tag team, especially with Damian Sandow. That'll pretty much be his first championship if they win the titles, if they decide to stay tag team. But Sin Cara versus Brodus Clay, that won't be so bad. I can actually imagine to see Sin Cara to be a WWE Tag Team Champion. I can actually see that happening. But the one, I guess one match that really did kind of strike me funny was when R-Truth. Yeah, there are times that R-Truth forgets where he is, and it was funny how he was like, he looked towards little Jimmy. He's like, "Oh, I remember where I'm at. I'm in Milwaukee," and I thought that was really, really cute. And the fact that he was like, "Yes, yes," like he was talking to little Jimmy, I thought that whole thing was funny. So yes, Raw actually did have its ups and its downs tonight. There were about maybe the same amount of ups as the same amount of downs, but I have to say the biggest downer of them all was the ending. There was no reason to have Jerry the King Lawler in there. After Jerry the King Lawler lost, they should have just ended it at that. Had John Cena come down a ramp or something like that. He should not have been the catalyst that made John Cena come down and to start the entire and to heat up the feud. It just didn't make any sense to me. But honestly, the fact that I'm extremely tired after watching 3 hours of Raw, and the fact that I was bored to tears with all the matches that have happened, I could care less about that Ryback match between him and Jack Swagger. I was really upset the fact that they squashed. And yes, I did watch SmackDown last week, but I didn't do a review because I just really wasn't up to it. But honestly, it really made me sad they squashed the feud with Jinder Mahal instead of going forward with the feud and building it up towards the pay-per-view. But as you can see, I am tired. Like, it was really tough to get through Raw tonight without falling asleep. But it wasn't totally boring. So I have to say that if I had to give it a rating, like, I'm gonna probably, if I have to give it a letter rating, I would have to say that this is a C. This will be a C show. If I had to give it, like, whether thumbs up, in the middle, or thumbs down, it'll be in the middle. Because honestly, it had its good points and it had its bad points. I'm not gonna give it totally a negative rating because of the fact that it was kind of even on both ends. So I'm going to literally give it a C for a letter grade. Well, pretty much I'm just gonna stick with a C. I'm gonna probably go back to my letter grades. But anyway, I'm definitely giving it a C. That is my verdict and I'm sticking to it. This is Nation Girl 30 signing off. I'm going to bed. Peace out.